Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice! I can't believe we're finally here. I have been wanting a sequel to Beetlejuice for the longest time. I grew up watching that movie, and as you should know, I love this entire franchise. So I went into this sequel with high expectations. And you know what? It lived up to them. I genuinely really like this sequel, which is a rarity for me these days. Usually, comeback sequels to 80s movies I liked tend to come out fine. They're usually not terrible, and I enjoy them in the moment, but as I think about it more, I start to feel less favorable towards it. But I saw this movie when it came out, it is now the 30th of October, and the high has not worn off! I still love it! Let's talk about it. After years of stalking Lydia Dietz, Beetlejuice finally has an opening to unleash himself into the real world while escaping his revenge-fueled ex-wife. Off the bat, Michael Keaton is a gem. He steps right back into the role, and it's like he never left. He has all the same mannerisms as before, but he has a lot more screen time to do more gags. I love when he makes everyone sing MacArthur Park, and seeing his backstory was actually very interesting. I also want to shout out Kathleen O'Hara for her performance as Delia. She was so perfect here. Really, the whole cast did great. I think Jenna Ortega was a natural pick to play Lydia's daughter, and I like her subplot with Jeremy. I really wasn't expecting that twist. Lydia herself is great, though I felt so bad for her the whole way through because she was stuck with that abusive asshole. But that made it so much more satisfying when Beetlejuice forces him to reveal how he really feels, and then lets Lydia take her revenge. That was very cathartic. There are just too many good scenes to count. But in the midst of all this fun, I do think the plot suffers a bit. For one, I do like Dolores, but aside from her introduction scene, she doesn't do much, is kind of pointless, and gets defeated pretty easily. And she should have been missing a finger. The first movie sets them up so perfectly for that. Come on! Willem Dafoe's character also wasn't entirely necessary, but he was at least more of a defined character. I also think generally, these plot lines end a little too quickly. I thought Jeremy's reveal of being evil was pretty cool, and made him come off as pretty smart. But once he's served his purpose of getting Astrid to the netherworld, Beetlejuice sends that fucker to hell. That did get a laugh out of me though, so I'm not complaining too much. This movie focuses more on having a good time than telling an especially great story, and I think that's just fine. I wouldn't say the first film had an especially magnificent story. It's held together by great characters and amazing visuals. And this movie keeps up the trend. Only, I would argue it's a little more fun with a greater focus on Beetlejuice and Lydia, who I think are more interesting characters than Adam and Barbara. I've really been struggling to decide if I actually prefer this to the original movie, because they're very comparable in my eyes. But if I have to lean one way or the other, I might actually be giving the edge to this movie. They both have advantages over each other, but I just genuinely have more fun here. You really need to watch this if you like the original. I think it's an amazing time. I'm so happy this movie broke the curse of mid-sequels to 80s classics. We've been drowning in those for a while. I don't even want to think about the last time I got burned. No!
Witches, the witches are back. Don't call me.